Hello. Good morning. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. Happy Tuesday. It's August 5th. We are, oh my goodness, 8 days away from my birthday, my 60th birthday. God willing. Lord, let me see 63. Hey, Peachy, how are you? Now let me see. How are you? Okay, so are they me, Peachy? Just let me see. Let me check my other device. How have you been doing? I'm trying to make sure. How have you been doing? Okay. Okay. Make sure I do have sound. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Sure. I do have sound. Okay. So let me cut this device off. Okay, everybody, how y'all doing? It is a great Tuesday morning. I went to sleep. I was gonna do this show earlier. Okay, so yes, I am using my phone. Oh, girl, I'm just so sick of all of these. Um, Now, how is the sound now? 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 How is the sound? Okay. So this is Teachable Tuesday. This is like an early morning show. And, you know, it's called accountability. And this is just going to be like a teachable Tuesday moment for everybody. What is accountability? Accountability is taking ownership and being answerable. Accountability is the act of accepting responsibility for one's actions, decisions, and their outcomes, both positive and negative. It signifies a willingness to be answerable for one's conduct, fulfill commitments, and rectify mistakes. Like me, I have taken accountability for past mistakes I've made, um, people I might have hurt, things I might have said, things I might have done because I was a little firecracker and I had a bad temper. When you continuously get hurt sometimes, you know, by trusting people, thinking everybody is for you, and you realize that everybody is not for you. Okay, let's change that. Then hold on. You know, you go through so much, and you know, you might have been a shy person at one time, or you let stuff go over your head. Um, you would not say anything to people. You would let things just fly. And so now you've decided, I'm not taking nobody's crap. I'm going to meet them with the disrespect. Disrespect will be met with disrespect. And sometimes that's good, and sometimes that's bad. We have to take um, ownership sometimes when we should maybe just let some things fly. That's like arguing with a drunk. Why would you argue with somebody that's drunk? You're not going to win, you know. Things will be said that should not be said. And me, I'm the type of person, I feel like a drunk, when the drunk gets to going off, cussing you out, calling you names, and saying whatever, I always say a drunk gets false courage. And they also tell you what they always wanted to tell you. But in some cases, that's not always true. Some people just get false courage. So, you know, you got to take ownership sometimes when you say, you know what, I should have been a better person. Why did I even argue with them? Or every time I'm with this person, something happens. And so I'm just going to learn just to keep my mouth shut because they are who they are and I am who I am. But sometimes silence can be golden. Another key aspect of accountability is responsibility. So, you just have to be the responsible person and say, hey, I own up to this. Um, I did this. I don't want this to happen again. And hopefully, you will try to do something to rectify the problem. And so when you take accountability, it's also like you're finally saying to yourself, like I said, accountability can be good and bad. You take accountability for the good and for the bad. You can say, I'm sorry that this happened in my life. I did the best that I could do. I'm taking accountability because, and ownership, because I did the best that I thought was the best decision at that time. Whether it was good or bad, and it might have been a bad decision, and you knew that you were going to get bad results. But sometimes we do things, sometimes people do things, a lot of things to make it in this world with bad results. And so when you take ownership and say, hey, I did whatever I needed to do, I'm to do by any means necessary at that time. Van Peachy says, yeah, I've always been outspoken, but I'm changing it. Yeah, sometimes being an outspoken person, yeah, that can get you in a lot of trouble. You know, a lot a lot of trouble. Sometimes, girl, you just got to throw your hand up and say, you know what? They ain't even worth it. It ain't gonna change nothing. Um, and then, like I say, you can be going off. You can be saying the right thing. Everybody know it's true, but the other person involved, they will not take accountability for their actions. Some people will never take accountability for their actions. They will never own up. They will never say, I lied. I was wrong. I made a bad decision. I made a mistake. I shouldn't have did this. Somebody got in my ear. I listened to the wrong person. Some people will never take ownership. And so you have to learn to deal with that too. Some people. And so what you have to learn is for your peace of mind is take ownership and say, hey, you know what? They did what they did, and I'm gonna do what I need to do. I don't have to go off. I don't have to curse them out. I don't have to snap. I don't need to tell my side of the story. You know, I'm just letting them go. I'm taking ownership that they no good. They did something wrong. They're never going to change. And so they're not going to stress me out. I'm going to just be me. And then, silence is golden. And sometimes absence is golden. Absence is golden sometimes, you know. Or, I just won't be around these people anymore, you know. And so when somebody takes accountability, which a lot of people don't do, you know, though that's those are steps in saying I made a mistake. Like I said, this can be good and bad when you got to take accountability for the good and the bad. Hey, mouthpiece, you got to take accountability for the good and the bad. And a lot of times, just telling somebody, I'm sorry, you know, I did the best that I could do with the knowledge that I had, or I was not in the right mind frame. Um, I'm sorry I didn't make it to any of your basketball games. You know, parents with kids. I'm sorry I didn't make it to any of the school functions. But you know that I was at work. And if I was not at work, you wouldn't have been able to have those drums to play in the band. You wouldn't have been able to have those gym shoes to play basketball. You wouldn't have had that extra money to go on those field trips. Now, I did the best I could do. Now, I'm sorry that you want to think I was a bad parent or I didn't do this, but that's on you. I'm taking accountability because I did the best I could do by working another job, working different shifts, and I could not make it to school plays and school football games. Because, you get a lot of kids, um, people, we, we want to, a lot of times, blame our parents for our mistakes that we made. And once you get grown, you look up, you like, you know what? My parents, because back in the day, it was they way, no way, or the highway. You had no right, but they did the best that they could do with what they knew. You know, a lot of people were blessed to have um, people that could tell them about budgeting, telling them about, the stock market. I come up in a time where people was just glad to be able to have their bills paid, get some good credit, pay your bills on time. Some people were blessed to have parents that knew, um, or a family that knew how to say, hey, invest in the stock market, you know, buy real estate, buy a house, don't rent. You have to take accountability and say, whoever was in my life when I was coming up, they did the best that they could do with the knowledge that they had. So now that I know, I'm going to go back and I'm not going to be mad because, you know, I had a different mindset because the people that was responsible for raising me did the best that they could do. Now, uh, accountability is also saying that Okay, Mouthpiece says, yeah, some people don't get the message. It's draining. And trying to talk to them, sometimes they don't follow through with the basics. Yeah, a lot of people, Mouthpiece, coming up in our generation, what nobody gonna listen. Most people, they had their mindset like, you know, go to work, pay your bills, go to work, you know, be on time, don't argue with the boss, don't say nothing, go to work, do your job. They didn't tell you that you had rights, um, but a lot of them, they didn't have rights. And even, you know, a lot of our people, it was just their frame of mind with thinking. It was just one way. This worked for some people, and they thought it should work for everybody. But the first thing people have to do is you have to take ownership. You know, accountability is the act of accepting responsibility for one's actions, decisions, and their outcome. You have to say, I'm sorry I was an alcoholic. You know, I was dealing with my own issues. I'm sorry I was a gambling addict. I'm sorry I was a drug addict. I'm sorry I was out here chasing women and should have been at home. Accountability. When you take accountability, I own up to anything I've done. I've done. And like I say, I own up to my stuff. And I'll tell people in a minute, I done cussed a lot of people out. But that was only after I had taken so much. Only when you feel hurt, you feel betrayed, you know, nobody defends you. You look up, you got people against you, and you like, now when did this happen? And then even like I said earlier, even after you have had disagreements with people, or things didn't go wrong, or you didn't have to come home and explain, um, you know, like I done messed up, I done got caught cheating, um, I done had an affair, I done got fired from a job because I was late. I done got fired from a job because I was trying to talk to the coworker. Uh, you have to take accountability, and you have to face the truth. You have to take accountability for your actions, the decisions, and the outcomes, and the effect that it's going to have on the people that you love. If you don't take ownership, you can never heal. If you don't take ownership, see, somebody can throw in your face, well, they did it, so I'm going to do it. See, taking ownership is saying, you know what, girl, hon, you need to wait, maybe. You need to maybe wait before you go live with a man. Because, see, that shacking might turn into years, and then you never get married, and you have a bunch of kids, and they never married you. Then they die, and you don't get anything. See, that accountability is telling your daughter, um, baby, no, make that man marry you. Don't be shacking. Get your name, sign your name on that dotted line. Cause if something happened, you might not get nothing. Y'all not married. All states don't recognize common law. So that's where you have to take accountability for your actions and your mistakes and sit down. And that way, a lot of these generational curses and things can be broken. Men got to tell their sons, I thought being the biggest player was out here. That didn't get me nothing but a bunch of baby mamas, a bunch of kids by different women that don't even know each other. So this is like a teachable Tuesday. You have to take accountability for your actions, decisions, and the outcome, both positive and negative. You have to say, as a result of me being on the job, letting folks come in the job, walking out the store with bags of grocery and food that wasn't right. You know, you have to take accountability. And once you take accountability, the forgiveness can begin, the healing, because you owned up to your part. Now, if you don't want to accept what I'm telling you, that's on you. And I don't want you're not going to keep throwing up in my face. You're not going to tell me that I'm living in the past. But every time we get together, you the drunk fool that acts a fool. Them type of people that they put everything on everybody else instead of looking at self in mirror. And also remember, a lot of people are not going to take accountability for their actions. A lot of people, you might never get the apology, and a lot of people are just going to be who they are. So your accountability will be how? How am I going to deal with these people? Do I continue to be with them? Because they're not taking ownership. They never will. They never apologize to me. I know some people, they don't like to be around people that have never apologized. But then you got to look at the flip side. Like some people, they just will never apologize. It's just not in them. So it's up to you because do you want to be around somebody that's never apologized to you because it bothers you? Like, I can't be around them. They never apologize to me. They always do stuff. So if it's bothering you, you had to take your accountability because you need your mind, body, and soul. You need it all in alignment. You don't need to be around anybody that's not taking accountability for their actions and not apologizing, not saying I was wrong or anything, and you're mad and you're looking at them. Your spirit ain't good. That's not even good for you to even be in that space. Hey Tina, hey my cousin, how you doing? And so then you have to sit there and say, well, they not gonna never apologize. You know they done did this bullshit, you know. And so you can love a lot of people from a distance, but your accountability will be if having this person around you that has not taken their ownership, and if it destroys your peace of mind and you're boiling hot and you're fuming, you can't have that type of energy around you. You can't have those evil spirits around you. So then you have to take your accountability and say, for my peace, because every time this person is around me, it's nothing but bad memories. They haven't taken ownership for their actions. And now I'm mad. I'm upset. I'm sitting there, I'm looking at them, and you're ready to do something. You're ready to cuss them out. Stay away from them. It's my advice. If somebody is not matching your energy, your spirit, and everything, but you also have to take in mind too, a lot of people, they're not going to take accountability and accept their responsibility when they have lied on you to other people. They've done things. They got people thinking one way to you. Well, then that's when you are going to have to be the bigger person and say, you know what? If people, if they can't take accountability, because of course, you know, they done lied on you, they done threw your name out there, they done did everything. So the only thing that you can do is say, I'ma just keep being me. I'ma just keep being the best person that I am, because you already know that another person that couldn't take their accountability and they can't accept their responsibility for their negative actions towards you and what they said to try to destroy your spirit. And you have to understand that some people, everybody don't see what everybody see at the same time. It might take some people years to say, you know what, that little such and such, he been a liar all the time. That's been the person that's been keeping all of the confusion up. And you and people ain't speaking. Don't let somebody else lack of accountability and their irresponsible actions deter you from having relationships with other people, because they have filled their head up. And don't always hold that against that person, because unfortunately, you know, a lot of times people don't know what to believe. So a lot of times some people don't say nothing while you think they was talking. They really wasn't saying nothing. Because a lot of people are not going to take accountability for their actions, their decisions, and their outcomes, which can be positive and negative. A lot of people will never answer to their conduct. A lot of people are never going to apologize. A lot of people are never going to say, I'm sorry. A lot of people will go to their grave and still make you out to be the bad person. That's on them. But you take your accountability and you take ownership of your life, and you say, you know what? Hey, let folks think whatever they want to think. Let them think whatever they want to think. Mouthpiece, Tina Scott, that is my first cousin. She lives in Seattle, Washington. She takes real good care of my aunt. I'm so thankful for her. She's taking care of my auntie. You know, a lot of times, you know, you can sit down and you can tell people You can take accountability for your actions, and they will still try to turn the positive into a negative. Don't allow anybody to do that. Once you have tried to make it right with somebody and you taken the necessary steps, whatever you've had to do in your life to say, hey, we're going to communicate more now. We're going to, I'm not going to drink no more. I'm not going to do this. It's a whole lot of things. Once you accept your responsibility for your actions and you get on the path of doing the right thing, don't let nobody knock you off your square by continuously bringing up, oh, you did this, you did that. Yeah, I did it, and what? That's over with. I ain't that person no more. I've accepted my accountability for what I did. I'm sorry. I can't change the past. Now, if you don't want this future to be great now, and we can have a good understanding, we can be around each other. Now, if you don't want that, that's on you. And if they don't want it, then leave them alone. You have to have people with the same energy and spirit, and they want their mind, body, and soul to be at peace. To be at peace. And you cannot move forward always thinking. If it bothers you being around a person and the hurt is so bad, then you have to take your accountability and just say it's just not good for my spirit because it's just so many bad memories. I can't think of anything good. Now I want to try to make some good memories, and maybe one day you'll look up and you can be around that person. But until then, if the vibes ain't good, it's not good because it causes you to get knocked off your square. It causes you to react different. It causes you to feel different. It causes you to get upset. It causes you to get your blood pressure upset, which isn't good for your health. That can take accountability for their actions. I don't know any advice to give you other than to try to love the person that can't take accountability for their actions, because some people, they're never going to apologize, and you're going to have to figure out what works best for you, not works best for me, your kids. You're going to have to find out what works best for you. because you have to have your mind, body, and soul in alignment. And like I say, it's a lot of people that don't take ownership of their stuff, and you get around them and you like, oh, here come this fake, here come this phony, or here come this one, here come that one. And then some people can just wipe the slate clean and be like, you know what? I ain't going to let them worry me. I know what they about. I'ma laugh and smile with them. I'm laughing at them because I know everything you probably saying is a lie. You exaggerating. And then sometimes you can just make it through just to have a good, memorable occasion. But just remember, everybody's not going to take accountability, and it's a time and a place for everything. And sometimes silence is golden, and sometimes walking away for your own peace of mind is golden as well. But you, all of us, we have to look in the mirror and we have to take accountability for our actions. And, it's sometimes, we might have to go to that person and just say, I want to I'm taking accountability. I know I didn't do wrong. I know you're a liar. I don't want to hear, you a liar. You know you lied, but I'm going to have peace and you're not going to disrupt my peace. But somebody's got to take ownership. And a lot of times people don't take ownership, which is accountability. And accountability sometimes is looking in the mirror and say, I did that. I did wrong. But I did the best that I could do with what I knew. I made the best decision that I thought at the time. I felt this way because this was going on. I felt this way because you hurt me. I felt this way because I knew you was a low down, dirty person and my reaction was not good. So this is just a quick live on taking accountability. Please make yourself first. Make yourself, keep your mind, body, and soul all in alignment. Love those that love you. Try to be a fair person. And, try to let stuff go. And you can let stuff go. And if letting stuff go, but not being around a person, if that's your peace of mind and that works best for you, then taking your accountability is, I can't be around that person because they bring out the worst in me. But you have to be fair to yourself and you have to take ownership of your feelings. And then you have to decide, and you know, with me taking ownership, I'm going to be happy. I made some mistakes. I did blase skippy, but I ain't that person. If you want to keep looking at me as that person, you don't understand that I did the best that I can do, that I thought was best. Because a lot of times we're put in positions that altered our life. So just take accountability of your actions, your decisions, and the outcome, both positive and negative. Take responsibility. Yeah, I did this. It wasn't right, but this is how I felt at the time. Yeah, I did this because I grew up and I thought that was normal behavior. But now I know it's not normal behavior. And this is a process for me because what you will find out in accountability is a lot of things. Nobody took ownership. Nobody sat down and talked. You know, everybody got up the next day like nothing happened. Nobody talked about anything. Nobody said I was wrong. Nobody said I'm sorry. And everybody put on their mask and went on like everything was okay. So let's change these generational curses. Let's get some good communication going and let's start taking accountability for our actions. This is April Showers, and I hope you enjoyed the show. Peace out, everybody. This is Teachable Tuesday, and I'm getting ready to take me a nap. 8 more days until my birthday. Lord willing, I'm going to see 63. And again, we're going to go with what Mouthpiece said. You know, you know, some people don't get the message. It's draining, trying to talk to people. But Mouthpiece, what I've learned is a lot of times when you think people aren't listening, they're listening, you know. And everybody comes to their arriving time, you know. Everybody comes to their arriving time. And some people think once they get it together, like they got a PhD degree, you know, they're the world's best counselor, or they know everything, and they still don't know because everybody's path and everybody's awakening was all different. But just take ownership and say, yeah, I did that, but I ain't doing that no more. And I'm going to try to do better. And you going to do the best that you can. And you can take ownership and say, I don't want to do this no more. And you still might do it because a lot of behavior is taught behavior. You've been doing it for 30, 40, 50, 60 years. And then some people are just who they are. And so you just decide, I'm going to overlook them, or I'm not going to be around them. I'm going to keep my peace. But don't miss out on some of life's greatest moments of being around people and not having fun, or missing an event because other people can't take accountability for their actions. Do not let anybody destroy your peace because they can't take their accountability. And you also don't walk around here feeling bad because some people don't want to take ownership of what they did to you, and you feel the way that you feel about them. You have feelings. You are number one. And, don't let nobody ever make you feel bad for somebody that has mistreated you, used you up, dogged you out, talked about you, and did everything to you, and you choose not to have them in your life because you've taken accountability and you say, you know what? I've done all I can. I've been the best, whatever, to somebody. And I didn't get what I should have gotten in return. Don't feel bad if you walk away. This is April Showers. Peace. Peace out. Peace out.